All right, welcome back to the channel. So, in a great interview done by Barbershop Conversations on this channel, Bob Arum claims that Errol Spence is ducking Terence Crawford, and that one of the reasons is that he knows he will get annihilated in that fight because he is too slow a foot and too slow a hand. Got to love the world according to Bob. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So here we are back in Bob's world where, things may be true, they may not be true. He may be telling the truth today, and he'll lie to you tomorrow. You know the deal. Bob Arum, the ultimate promoter, the guy that says exactly what he needs to say to suit his best interests. So when I listened to, originally I read the article on Boxing News 24 where it cited the interview that took place with Barbershop Conversations. So definitely go to Barbershop Conversations channel to listen to the whole interview. Otherwise, if you want the excerpts from it, you can get that from Boxing News 24. So in this particular interview, Bob Arum was asked about the Terence Crawford fight and came with a very predictable point of view that is completely devoid of reality, which is that it is Errol Spence Jr. that is the one that is trying not to make the fight with Terence Crawford, right? Now, to anybody that pays attention to this on a day-to-day basis, we know that nothing but absolutely no truth to that whatsoever. Errol Spence Jr. has been very, very clear that he wants to be the undisputed champion at 147 pounds, and that he was going to clean up his side of the street first, and then he was going to cross the street and fight Terence Crawford. What that meant was that Errol Spence Jr. was going to get the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF titles. And the reason that he said that he was going to do that first was because it was very clear that the negotiations for the fights would be much easier to make because both parties are represented by the same people. They are also their fights are typically aired on the same channel, right? So if you looked at the time that he said it, Manny Pacquiao, I do believe, or Keith Thurman was the WBA champion. Both Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman are signed by the PBC and fight on cards on Fox or on Showtime, right? Primary for Manny Pacquiao, it's Fox. So that was the logic that he used. And he said that after that, he would then cross the street. And what cross the street means is deal with another promotional outfit, deal with another network that his fights are not typically aired on. At that point, they would come to an agreement and make the fight. The only issue that there has been stated by Errol Spence Jr. is the demands on the money for the fight, saying that he deserves the lion's share, deserves the lion's share of the money. If you look at the pay-per-view numbers that are done by Errol Spence, if you look at the ticket sales with Errol Spence, if you look at the rate of increase of both of those things, you'll understand that Errol Spence believes that he is the quote-unquote A-side to that fight. He has 3 of the belts. He's fought in the biggest fights most recently. That's his logic. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, believes that Errol Spence Jr.'s value proposition as it relates to him is off, right? And saying no, that this fight, people are going to come to watch this fight because of you and because of me. And you can look at my track record at 135 and 140 pounds and 147 pounds, and you will notice that throughout the whole time, I have been considered one of the best fighters in the world. And because I'm one of the best fighters in the world and the world is demanding this fight, I am not going to accept 30%. I'm not going to accept 40%. If it's at a point in time, he said 50-50 or no go. All of those conversations that have been taking place are around money, not around the desire to have the fight. The only person that has said to date that they are not interested in that fight is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford said, I'm done with it. And he was interviewed on DAZN, Akin Barak show, and they asked him the question, hey, Terence, if you got 50-50, would the fight still take place? And Terence Crawford's answer was, I don't know, I'm past that. How can a right-minded person take those facts, which are facts, and come to the conclusion that it is Errol Spence that is not trying to make that fight? It is absolutely ridiculous. However, it is very consistent with the messages that Bob Arum will give on a regular basis. And those things are always whatever is in his interest. That's what the facts are going to align with. That's what his actions are going to align with. Doing what he believes is in his best interest. His best interest could be defined as Top Rank's best interest, but you get my point. Bob then goes into so he says that they don't want the fight. Then he goes into saying that Errol Spence Jr. won't win the fight. He's too slow a hand, he's too slow a foot, and he doesn't want the fight. Unlike Sean Porter, who really does want the fight, the only issue with Sean Porter is the money for the fight. Sean Porter said he's not going to take $1 million, not going to take $2 million for the fight. The issue that Sean Porter has with the fight is the exact same issue that Errol Spence Jr. has with the fight. They're both saying, in order to make this fight, I need X amount of money. There's no difference. The idea that Errol believes that he is too slow, literally believes that he is too slow, or believes that he's slow of hand or foot, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Errol Spence Jr. has never lost a fight. The dude is an Olympic bronze medalist. He has extremely fast hands, and made even more fast by the fact that he never wings his punches. Everything is tight. Everything is going on a straight line. His punches take a lot less time to deliver than other people's do, just by the nature of his technique. What is the truth of the matter, though? This is what I believe. And this is me having read news articles written by the media, right? My impression is that the boxing media and the boxing establishment do not want this fight. They don't talk. I actually read an interview. I read an article where the article was entitled, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, we're tired of this. Like, if you're tired of it and nobody has any interest in it, then why are you writing the article? How often do people go out of their way to write articles about fights and proclaim that nobody cares about them? The way that as a boxing fan, the way it usually goes down is when people don't care about fights, nobody ever talks about the fight, right? You could say, hey, nobody really cares about Gary Russell Jr. versus Lomachenko. And why would you say that? Because nobody ever talks about the fight. It is patently ridiculous to say that people don't care about Terence Crawford or Errol Spence when it has been one of the two biggest stories in boxing for the last 2 years. People may be tired of the back and forth related to it and the conversations that go on when they know that there is not a certainty that the fight is going to take place. But to say that they're tired of it, that is the media, in my opinion, trying to give people a narrative that they will accept and then spread on to other people. But other than that, it's based in just rank stupidity. Anyway, I'm not buying Bob Arum blaming this on Errol Spence Jr. I'm not following the idea that the boxing fans are not interested in this fight. Look at the numbers and the views on any article or any video that's done about the subject. That is a hot topic. Hot topics are hot topics because people have interest in them. Now, maybe certain sections of the boxing population don't have interest in it, but that doesn't mean that the majority of the fans do not. I guarantee you, Mexican boxing fans will be very, very interested in the fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, as will Black American fans. As a result, the fight will be tremendously successful, and provided that there is reasonable compensation given to both parties, it is a fight that should happen and should be terrific for the sport of boxing. That's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace. Peace.